everybody, my name is Pippi Cat Lontail Fox, and today I'm going to be reacting to one of the vegan teacher's videos. I've actually done a poll on my TikTok account, and I cannot believe that people wanted me to do this. I honestly wanted to, but I didn't have the energy to do so because of, school and looking for a job, all that good stuff. So today, let's just hop into it. And just as a disclaimer before we get started, I don't care if you're vegan, you're vegetarian, you're a meat eater. I myself, I am a meat eater. And I don't care what you eat, just don't try to force somebody to, eat something they're not going to. Because it's not right. Just let them eat what they want to eat. Anyways, let's get to the video.
Hello students, welcome to class. Today I'm holding my camera phone here and I'm looking at my iPad and showing you this account by Call Me Chris. She has 48.7 million followers. She's Canadian like me. The reason that we're looking at this account is we're trying to understand what is going on with this person.
There is nothing wrong with Call Me Chris. I think there's just something that she doesn't like about Call Me Chris. I actually do like some of the videos that Call Me Chris does. I like the little toddler and the wine mom that complains a lot, but also gets like hate towards like this character that she has named Karen, who just constantly comes out her door, talks about how Hunter wants to not play, boy stuff and prefers to wear makeup, which is absolutely very funny and I like it. But my favorite character of all is Katrina. I can't say with a Russian accent, and I hope I said her name right, but I love Katrina. I don't even think I said her name right, but still, I love Call Me Chris's content, especially when it comes to like having different voices. I can't really do that. And I think it's very, very cool that she can actually do the stuff that she does.
First of all, it should be stated that she's an excellent actor. She plays so many different roles and uses all different kinds of accents. And a while back on YouTube, she made a video saying that she had been sexually assaulted when she was a younger person. And my heart kind of went out to her. But then I started to look a little bit closer. And now I'm not convinced that it ever even happened.
Saying that, a sexual assault never even happened to her because she's not vegan is very disrespectful to anybody. Even if they are vegans, they're vegetarians or meat eaters, it is very disrespectful to say that somebody who has been sexually assaulted and be like, oh, well, she eats meat, and because she eats meat, she's paying for this, that, and the third of the animals, which means if that ever happened, it didn't even happen. But sexual assault's not something that, should be something taken very, very lightly to the point that you're using it as a thing to tell people, oh, this person's making it up. Because you want to know why? Because they're not vegan, they're meat eaters. But that's just plain out disrespectful, and you don't know what's going on in the person who actually did get assaulted. So, vegan teacher, what is wrong with you? Like, for real. I am actually one victim of that at a very young age, and yeah, it's something not to make a joke of, and I honestly have trauma from that, and I think Call Me Chris does too, and other people who also has been through it before, or even if they had done it before, they probably still sometimes that some people will tell you, hey, I've had this done before, and sometimes that some people will tell you it still continues.
Now, the reason I say that is because typically, if you have been sexually assaulted, you will usually feel that that was a terrible thing and you would not want it to happen to anyone else.
I think Call Me Chris doesn't want it to happen to anyone else, but saying that it didn't even happen because, she's a meat eater doesn't make it right for you to say it never even happened because, oh, you think it would be wrong. Yes, it is wrong. It is very wrong, and I don't think Call Me Chris would want it to happen to anybody else. But trying to push it as a veganism thing is very, and I mean highly, disrespectful of you to be doing so. And you need to apologize to every single person who's been sexually assaulted by anybody.
But when I talked to Chris and I asked her to please stop eating animals because in the dairy industry, for example, the cows are sexually assaulted, she didn't really seem to care about that. So I thought to myself, well, that's weird, because if you think that sexual assault is wrong, wouldn't you want it to not happen to someone else?
I don't think Call Me Chris was thinking it would happen to someone else. I mean, it would, but with the exception of the fact that you're comparing sexual assault with veganism, which is something that you should not do, by the way, because one, it is very disrespectful, like I said earlier, but just to say that, oh, she didn't care, she didn't, think about it that way. Well, I mean, I think she did, but still, you shouldn't just compare sexual assault with animals in any shape, way, or form. It's only with human beings because you're not doing anything to the animals really that much of the same thing that would happen to a human being. Like, that, it's a trauma experience for, like, people, but we have no clue how the animals feel at all. There's no research of how the animal would feel about it. None of that. All we got is human actual results. But you want to say that Copernicus does not care if other people that, I mean, she completely does. And she said in one of her videos that, to anybody who has been sexually assaulted, she is deeply, deeply sorry for what had happened.
And it doesn't seem to be the case when it comes to her. Her sexual assault seems to be all that matters. But if others are sexually assaulted, well, that doesn't seem to matter to her at all.
Again, she is talking about animals and not human beings themselves.
This is a video that she did recently that I thought was very bizarre because it talks about hurting a child and she laughs about it. And I've seen her laugh many times at the suffering of others. And so let's look here.
Oh my gosh, I just had the most intrusive thought. Oh.
Let's turn this up.
I don't think she wants to hurt people. I know she doesn't hurt people, but laughing at somebody who gets hurt is a normal human behavior. I know a lot of times I go on like funny videos to see kids falling or people getting hurt at work, and I tend to like giggle and all that, but that's not, something bad. It's not something bizarre. But she doesn't want to like intentionally hurt somebody. And intrusive thoughts are something that you want to do, but you don't seek it. I mean, some people do if they have a sick and twisted mind, but Kami Chris does not have a sick and twisted mind where she wants to hurt the child for real. She just pictures it. And I know I have intrusive thoughts of not the same thing as hers, but totally different. There's different thoughts, intrusive thoughts that people can have. And let me just say, not all of them are safe. Some of them are funny to others, but others are concerned. But just mainly, it's not that serious of intrusive thoughts. It's not that, yeah.
What was yours? I just imagine trying to shove this entire muffin into my mouth at once. Oh, that's not really an intrusive thought. That's more of an impulsive thought. Oh, yeah, no. An intrusive thought would be, I want to shove your muffin down your throat like it's a tube sock in a vacuum pipe. Hypothetically. Oh, okay. So intrusive would be, I want to pick up this muffin and throw it at the wall as hard as I can. It's close. Intrusive would be more like, I want to throw this stale rock-hard muffin at an innocent bystander walking on the street, preferably a child holding a...
She wants to throw a muffin at a child on the street, and this is what she says is an intrusive thought. And this is the example that she gives, to throw something at a child and harm the child.
Balloon to see it topple over like a bowling pin while it walks.
And she's hoping that the child has a balloon and that the child will fall over.
Which is the only thing that brought it joy that day.
And the child would be very sad. So I found that a really strange example.
That's not really a strange example. Actually, I have an example of one. I actually went to Carowinds with like my two cousins and my cousin's girlfriend one day, and we were leaving the park to go eat in the car instead of having to go buy the food there because, my God, it's expensive. Anyways, I seen this tiny sign that was, as we were leaving, I'm just like, it would be very funny to see a child or an adult go through this sign because of the fact they were walking too fast and they weren't paying attention, and it would be very funny if I caught it on camera. But with me, I'm like, I have like 1 to 1,000% chance of even seeing that happen, and oh my goodness, did the Lord give me the prayer that I actually wanted to see, and I seen a kid go through this sign, but there was a problem. I was not recording to get this interaction, but I kid you not, I was laughing. I just really wanted to see somebody go through that sign, and I knew that nobody would be dumb enough to do that. But it was like, I think it was a 4 to 5 year old, I don't know, maybe 6, and I kid you not, straight through the sign, and I was just dying laughing because that was something I really wanted to see happen, and I've actually seen people do it on videos where they actually did go through a sign, but knew I couldn't see that in real life myself. But to actually have my vision actually seen but not being recorded like I wanted it to was very funny to me.
Away into the abyss, hypothetically.
So this is her idea of what is funny. I don't find it funny to even imagine that children are being hurt. I've worked in an intensive care unit where there were children who were actually hurt, and it is the most devastating thing to observe. And the fact that she makes fun of this kind of thing, I find really bizarre. So what I decided to do with this video is I went to my own site and I decided to duet her video, which is something that you can do.
I know other places that I actually have seen people with very gruesome physical things that are wrong with their bodies, and it's not very uncommon for people to laugh at a child getting hurt, especially other children. Children like seeing other kids get hurt. Teenagers like seeing kids get hurt. Adults like seeing kids get hurt. And I kid you not, I know a few elderly people who love seeing kids get hurt. Like, they literally sit out on their porch, wait for some kid or teenager to come by, and they trip and they fall and they get hurt and they're crying. I know people who laugh at other people who get hurt because it makes them feel a little bit of joy in the world that some people can't get. But to say that it's very wrong to think of that way, then why are there funny videos of kids getting hurt and people who are just dying laughing? And there's also some of them where if there's a try not to laugh challenge where there are some kids that get hurt and people have laughed and said that they laughed their butts off. Just seeing kids get hurt and other animals getting hurt, but like in a funny way, like getting scared with an air horn, or putting tinfoil on the counters and the cats just jump in on the counter when they're not supposed to and they just jump off. I kid you not, I never seen a cat jump that fast off of a tinfoil lay on the counter so fast, like it was off of Mario the game, to get away from some type of monster. I don't know, but just to say, oh, this is something unusual, it is not unusual to see it, but all in the same, it is also not kind of fun to see a kid get gruesomely hurt. There's an extent of laughing at somebody who's hurt, but there's also where the point you shouldn't laugh at somebody who could legibly be very harmed to the fact they have to go get something physical done, like having their arm put in a cast. I've actually had to get my arm put in a cast because I did something really stupid. And I think some of my family members did laugh at me for doing something stupid, but that was my fault. And yeah, it's not uncommon human behavior. It is not. It's probably happened before I was even born as well, for people to laugh at people getting hurt.
So here's my site here. As you can see, I have an account warning because I got a community violation.
There's multiple reasons of why you get a community violation, but I wonder why you got one, because I know you had so many before, but I wonder what this one would be now.
And my violation was for no good reason. It was literally just telling people to not hurt animals. And that's not okay. Apparently over here on TikTok, it's okay to talk about hurting the kids, but no, we can't talk about hurting animals.
You can't talk about hurting animals because when you talk about hurting animals, you want to show graphic detail to younger kids, younger than 13. Maybe 13 and up you can tell it to, but anybody below 13 is going to be scarred for life from when you tell them this. As for Call Me Chris, she's saying it in a very, and I mean a very funny manner. She's not doing this seriously. She's not talking about hurting kids for real. It's just something that, thinking about it might happen, but you would get in trouble for it, but so you don't do it. It's a whole different story other than let's talk about not hurting the animals of the industry, of the egg industry, the milk industry, the whatever other industry there is. You're doing it out of bad intentions of trying to show that both of them are the same thing, but when they're really not.
So I took her video here and I did a duet.
Oh my gosh, I just had the most intrusive thought.
And I'll just turn the volume down there, but you could see it. So beside it, I made a point of writing things about the dairy industry. So if she doesn't like the fact that she was sexually assaulted, it's a good idea then for her to not sexually assault the cows in the industry and also many other animals, or at least not to pay for that to happen.
I think the vegan teacher just lied about what Call Me Chris does. She literally just said that Call Me Chris assaults animals, but I don't think Call Me Chris is going out of her way to sexually assault an animal for her own pleasure, or at least pay for it, as the vegan teacher says. Well, does Call Me Chris always eat meat? No. The only allegation that she's going off of with the vegan teacher for Call Me Chris is that Call Me Chris tried some foods that her fans sent her, and some of them had animal products in it, like milk and cheese, and I think that was about it. It was just snack related videos. And just to say, oh, she sexually assaulted an animal. Do you know how bad of a reputation you can give somebody for saying that? You could get Call Me Chris out of jobs, or out of a job that she's in, just by saying that. But then turns out, oh, she doesn't do this. It's just that you misword it in a very bad way.
So the dairy industry, their cows, kidnaps their babies, ties them up, murders them, steals their milk, repeats the cycle over and over because people like her keep buying milk, cheese, yogurt, and ice cream.
Last time I checked, it wasn't a crime to buy milk, ice cream, or yogurt. And if it was, why are they in grocery stores? So you have no valid points to point out of she's doing all this because she buys milk, yogurt, and ice cream. Is the conditions of the animals bad? Yes. Could they be better? Yes. Should people be eating whatever they want? Yes. You have no grounds to stand on and tell people on what they can and cannot eat and call them a selfish person for eating what they eat. It would be the same thing as people who are eating meat saying that vegans are monsters for eating the rabbit's food, the cow's food, and all that, and we're just eating it all up. What about all the other foods that the other animals could eat? The deers could eat it, and the giraffes could eat it, the elephants could eat it, all this, that, and the third. You have no grounds to be on.
So I'm also thanking people who watch this video over on my TikTok. I'm saying thank you to everyone who is vegan because they never want to hurt anyone.
Not all of them that actually watch our stuff are vegan, so.
And then I provide the resources here of the important documentaries because sometimes people don't believe what actually happens in the dairy industry. So I wrote here, watch this documentary called Earthlings, which is one that had a very powerful effect on me. And it really made me very sad to see what we do to the animals in these industries. Cowspiracy, this one focuses a lot on the cows and on the dairy industry. There's also Seaspiracy, Dominion Movement, Forks Over Knives, The Game Changers, and What the Health. So if you haven't yet seen these documentaries, I encourage you to do so.
I actually did watch the one of the documentaries. It was Dominion, and honestly, it did affect me a little bit because I didn't like the conditions they were in. But I'm not gonna change what I eat.
We should never be stealing the eggs from chickens. That's another thing that's really important. And I've mentioned this to Chris, that she should not be eating eggs, because in that industry, they take the baby boy chicks away at just 1 day old, and they macerate them because they consider them to be useless in the egg industry, because they'll never be able to grow up to lay eggs, because they're going to grow up to be roosters and not chickens. So I've talked to Chris about this, and I've said, listen, it would be great if you would be vegan. It would be great if you would stop talking about hurting animals or children. It is not a joke.
Someone actually sent me a link to any of Chris's videos, stating that she actually was gonna hurt any type of animal.
And I encouraged her to watch these documentaries. Now, she did say that she was going to watch Dominion Movement, but I doubt that she did, because otherwise she would have been affected by this. If she was any kind of a normal person, she probably would have broken down and cried and felt terrible for all the abuse that she's been part of in the last many years. And don't get me wrong, I also used to eat animals. I used to eat them. I used to drink their milk. I used to eat the ice cream that came from that milk, and I ate eggs, meat, all of it. So I understand that it's a shocker when you first hear about that, but somebody like Chris, who is a completely capable woman, she should absolutely be vegan, and she should declare it to all of her fans. And especially if she has truly been a victim of sexual assault, why on earth would she be okay with the industry, the dairy industry, pinning down mothers and forcing them to be pregnant after pinning down the fathers, the bulls, and forcing the sperm out of them? This is sexual assault, then it is kidnapping of babies, and it is murder and stealing. Everything bad happens in the dairy industry, and we're calling on Chris to say something about this, to say, this is wrong. If you don't like sexual assault, if you're against sexual assault, if you're against stealing, you should absolutely be vegan, like that vegan teacher.
She doesn't have to be vegan for sexual assault to be stopped. So stop trying to say, oh, you didn't suffer from sexual assault because you eat meat. That is still, again, like I said, very highly disrespectful.
So that's what I'm hoping will happen. And because people are asking me, what does this video have to do with anything? But this is just a trick that you can use if you want to get people's attention. You can put a video of a famous person on the side, and if you don't like what they're saying, you can put an X on them like that. But over on TikTok, you have to be very careful. You can't actually say what you're really feeling. You can, however, put some information, as I did here. So thank you so much for being here. And if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please do so.
To sum it all up, you're not a sexual assault victim unless you're vegan. That vegan teacher is a crazy person who actually needs to be educated about what sexual assault is. If she doesn't know what it is and how it can affect people, she shouldn't be talking about it at all, especially when it comes to animals and between animals and people. She does not get the concept between those two. And I like how she's like, oh, you're not sexually assaulted because you eat meat. What does that got to do anything with sexual assault? Oh, well, if you buy from the industry, you're paying for it all. Anyways, I might make another vegan teacher, video and call her out on the lies that she has been spreading, like almost everybody else has, but she won't, accept it, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, if you liked the video, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want more. Peace.